Hey YouTube! I thought I'd come outside and make a quick video. Not smoking a pipe because it turns out my window is froze shut, and so that's that. Kind of having a little bit of a storm today with some garbage, so it's froze solid. But anyways, it's gonna be a random pipe episode. This one I'm gonna talk. I wrote some stuff down about corncob pipes and value, and this is just how I would assess some of these pipes. And I am not the leading authority on cob pipes or cob modding at all, by no means. I will say though, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I will say of what I know of on YouTube, I probably have the bigger collection of how to do stuff with corncob pipes, and I have made quite a few of them. I made a lot of them actually, but I know what it takes to go into them. I know what to look for as far as problems I come across or things that are more difficult. So when I'm going to go through what I would assess as having more value than others, it's just going to be mostly on what I think went into it and how hard it is to do. So basically, there's certain criteria I would judge certain cob mods on as far as price wise. I'm not trying, again, it's another one of those videos. I'm not trying to offend somebody. It's just how I see it. Feel free to disagree. It's just an opinion, and you're free to do so. So if you get offended, I feel sorry for you. Ooh, that sounded harsh. Anyways, how I would assess things, and I'm going to try and keep this not incredibly long, but it will run long, I think, and hopefully I have enough memory on my phone. One of the things I would assess a price of on a cob mod if you're going to buy one, because my goal here is to educate people if they're going to buy one. Maybe if they're not, they don't make them, but they like the idea of them. Just kind of educate them and just try and give them an assessment of really if something's worth something or not. And being a maker, this is how I will assess it. Okay? People will probably, opinions will vary. One will be the original cost of the pipe. Going from like a Pony Express or an Elton Eaton, whatever, all the way up to like some like either the Cobbett series or the Degner Cobb. Those which are on the higher end of the price for to purchase to work on. So that has something to do with it too, is the cob you're getting. A lot of my mods I do with just a little Washington Fifth Avenue. It's just a shape I like to work with. But that's a big factor, how much, what kind of pipe is it originally that they're doing something to. Next I would put on the list would be shank, the shank material, and how it's done as far as finish, but I'll get to that probably closer to the end. What I mean by that is on a stock shank, if it's just colored, I wouldn't put a whole lot more value into that, because I've seen some guys, there are some high-end cob modders that just use the stock shank, and I wouldn't put a whole lot more value on it if it's just a colored stock shank. Finish is a different story. But I have seen some people use a stock shank and have done some really neat things on it. So, one guy from Instagram, Donwad Piper, he did a really cool thing on one of the shanks. I've seen a couple other guys do it. But yeah, that's what's weird. As a whole, this is going to be kind of tangenty all over the place. The guys the cob modders, I really like their work. I think they're just extraordinary pieces. I wouldn't even put them on the list of quote unquote high-end cob mods because they don't even charge that price, which is weird because these guys, in my opinion, make much better pipes and a better quality pipe than some of these people are charging upwards of almost $70-$80 in some cases, which is ridiculous to me. I will defend cob modding until I'm dead, but it's just how I see things. So stock shanks I wouldn't put a whole lot more value to unless they actually did something really neat to it. Bamboo shanks, bamboo shanks, I would definitely add some price to it, but I wouldn't go crazy because bamboo shanks are relatively easy to work with, and they're, a lot of cases they're not doing much to it than cutting it to size and gluing it in. So I wouldn't go crazy over a bamboo shank. Now, if somebody made a replacement wood shank and had to turn it, then I would add more to it. What's another one? Antler shanks. That one's hard to assess. There's going to add value to it, but I don't think people need to, lose their minds over the idea of it. Okay, but yeah, those two take some doing as well there's time into it. So yes, there definitely is value there, and some people can't source them, or like me, if I want one, I just go out to the garage and grab one of my smaller racks and make one. But some people necessarily can't get them for that cheap. So yes, there is value to an antler shank as well, as far as working with it and getting it to fit and all that other good stuff. But let's not lose our minds over it, okay? And the other thing is too, like this one. This is one of my custom skunk stripe, racing stripe ones, and would I add value to that? Yeah, because it takes a little bit to make that. It does, and to fit it. So I would add value to something like that. If somebody's turning one or making a new one like that, I would add value to that. What else I got? Shaping. Shaping does have value, but it depends on the amount of shaping. All right. So, like this one's obviously shaped. This was from an older pipe I did, and people probably see it and say, well, you can get that shape now. Yes, you can, but you could not at the time I made this well over a year ago. The actual bowl, it was a bowl that had an accident. I kind of reworked it and then fit it with a new stem, but actually that's an old shape I did. But if you're just going to do a little bit of shaping, or if you're just going to take let's say a Mark Twain, just round the bottom and then just do a little bit on top, that does come with value. But again, let's not lose our minds over a little bit of shaping. Now, if you're getting into the point where you are putting cobs together, or you're making like this one of mine, where it is a completely custom-made shape, I've never seen anybody else do that, to the point where you have to get out the plaster and really do a lot of stuff, or like I said, you're putting cobs together, then I would say I put a premium on that. But like I said, on the stock ones where there's a little bit of shaping where stuff's rounded, let's not lose our minds on that either. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I went over the stem thing, or the stems, not the shanks, but the stems now. Obviously, there's not a lot of value on the stock ones. On ones that are put on, there's some value to them, but there are places where you can buy a vulcanized stems and have them shipped to you relatively inexpensively if you look around on eBay and stuff. And that's judging by the styles and some of these quote-unquote high-end pipes, that's where they're coming from. They're just coming from overseas. There's also some sites where you can buy some acrylic stems, pre-made acrylic stems, and the price-wise are not too bad, but definitely both add value to the pipe. So yes, there's value to using them. Obviously, if someone's turning their own stem, that would be way more value. If someone's taking the time, taking like an acrylic rod and build a stem, definitely demands a premium price. However, I have not seen a whole lot of premium cobs or high-end cobs, I would say, have done so. Which, like I said, if someone's going to turn a stem, a custom acrylic stem for a pipe, definitely demands a premium price. And like I said, there's guys that, whatever. Sorry. Another one is ferrule material. There's various ways to do it, various things you can use. Water compression fittings are really big on some pipes, and get them from other places. Use the stock ones. You can sand the finish off. Copper fittings too. So some of these ferrules that people lose their minds over, they're a couple of cents at the store. So like I said, don't lose your mind over that either. Not trying to be a jerk here, but there it is. And one of the other things is the fit. Now this is where I see a lot of high dollar pipes when they show pictures and they spin them around and they give you all this stuff, and this fit is terrible going into here. If you're going to spend well over $50, $60+ on a pipe, this should be absolutely perfect where it joins up with this cob. That's just my opinion, I guess. Like, even this is a decent fit on mine here, and I got some that I've made for people and gave away, which the fit is good. It's just, you can see a little bit. It is a cob. But if you're going to charge a very high-end price, that should be flawless. And I've seen a lot of them, these high-end pipes, that fit is just kind of, I don't know, to me. And then finishes. I would say anything that has a rustication on it, that's not a smooth finish, it was not sanded smooth or designed smooth, either on the bowl or the shank that they may or may have not made or just dyed, demands a lower price point than something that is worked out smooth. It's hard to tell in this video, but this shank here, which I worked on till it's like glass, and this is smooth. If there's going to be a cob mod you're going to look at from some makers and it's smooth, I would give that more of a price point or a higher price than guys that just they do like a rusticated finish and then the stem's a little rusticated. There's less time into that, so I wouldn't give necessarily a high price for it per se, or as high out price. They can still might be a neat, very interesting cob mod and very cool, but compared to one of the same kind with the same everything else, this one that's all smoothed out, I would say there's way more time into that to try to make that look perfect than something that's rusticated. And I've seen some high-end pipes that have really shortcutted this, and I think that is just, I don't know, whatever. I'm not against anybody making money. I'm just trying to see how I see things as a maker. And I see the two major ones are finishes and fitting the stem into the cob. I see a lot of guys that charge a lot of money that really overstep these, and the finishes are all orange peely, and so I really wouldn't I wouldn't add a lot of value to that. I'd add value to it, but not as much as a actual smooth finish where someone took the time to really work on it, to polish it up, to make it look really nice. Like I said, it's not to say that like the rusticated look can't be cool and neat. I just don't think that really gets a high-end price, or a higher as price, I should say, to be more specific, if that makes sense. So that's just kind of how I see things. Now, there is a lot of cob modders that sell pipes that are awesome at it, and like I said, a lot of them that I do like might have variations of this, but their pipes are more well built or better built than some of these pipes I see going for lots of money. Which, like I said, I will defend cob modding, but once we start getting up in some of these price ranges, it's just ridiculous, because I can see the time that went into them versus the time that went into some of these guys I do like, which in some cases I believe there's a couple of pipes, I think quite a few, that they are undercharging compared to these high-end cob mods. So, like I said, people can feel free to disagree with me, and I'm not trying to take a shot at anyone. You know what? If you can make the money and run, go for it. But just keep in mind, when you're looking for a cob mod pipe, just because one has a name attached to it or is really popular for whatever reason, does not mean that it's necessarily worth that amount of money. Like I said, there's a couple I follow. There's a couple guys on YouTube I follow. There's a couple of Instagram guys I've seen, and their pipes are lights out and just heads and above. They are on a different level than some of these premium pipe makers, and they charge more realistic prices, I believe. That's, to me, coming from a maker's standpoint. So, like I said, I'm not trying to take a shot at anybody, and if you're offended, I'm sorry you feel that way. But so hopefully this helps some of you guys out, and maybe we can try to wrap your head around some of this craziness that has been going on. But until then, hey, if you've got weather like this, hey, stay warm.